Grudge, Forgiveness, and Fate. The desert is a book that whispers its secrets to a person. Every grain of sand is a story, every wind a breath, every shadow a guardian. And I am Aaron. In the middle of this endless sea of sand, I walk with the voices that whisper to my soul. But my name is not truly Aaron. My name is Grudge. My name is Forgiveness. My name is Fate. For months I have walked upon these sands. With every step I take, two hungry beings walk within me. One is the crimson wolf of revenge, the other the white gazelle of forgiveness. Not knowing which one will be fed is a torment deeper than this desert. And above me is fate, like a cloud over my head. It neither speaks nor stays silent. It only watches and reads what has already been written. In the middle of the night, when the moon hangs in all its splendor in the sky, the whispers of forgiveness wrap around my soul. Let it go, that whisper says. Revenge is not taken through hatred. Peace belongs to the one who abandons anger. And in that moment, the face of the one I wish to take revenge upon turns pure and innocent in my mind. If I were to forgive him, perhaps this desert inside me would bloom again. Perhaps then the souls of everything I lost would also find peace. But when the sun rises and this giant sphere sets earth and sky ablaze, that is when the crimson wolf of revenge begins to howl. Have you forgotten? It says. Remember, your purpose was to free yourself from the captivity of a stone. As if taking what you had was not enough, he scattered you like grains of sand across the barren slopes of the desert. The more you chase him, the more he flees. Find him and take your revenge. At night I forgive. By day I curse. On one side forgiveness in my heart, on the other grudge in my soul. And what a fate, that ancient force that watches all this, never speaking, yet knowing everything. Where will it lead my path? At the end of this desert, what awaits me? The cool water of forgiveness, or the crimson fire of revenge? Or something far more terrible? It was months ago. In the heart of this desert, we were a tribe living in peace around a small oasis. My tribe, my family, my son's laughter, my wife's grace, the trust of my friends. The oasis where we lived was gathered around a water well, Zamar's well. Zamar's well was a legacy passed down to us from our ancient ancestors. There was also an ancient stone resting upon the well. Zamar himself had placed that stone there. Fixed onto the wall of the well was an emerald green stone. As long as that stone remained upon the well, the date palms and palm trees around the oasis would always bear fruit, and the green grasses would never dry. No matter how much water was drawn from it, the well's abundance would never end. To some, Zamar was a dervish, to others a saint, to others still a servant beloved by God and granted special powers. He was said to be an immortal sage who had lived even before our ancestors. No one knew when he was born, where he came from, or even where he was. It was believed he was still alive, walking the deserts at night from west to east, from north to south, checking the wells he had opened and the stones he had left upon them. Zamar also had one condition. Whoever, for any reason, moved the stones upon the wells, the well would be cursed, its water would dry up, and all the trees and plants around it would wither. For this reason, it was strictly forbidden for the tribes living around the well to touch those stones. Our ancestors had commanded it so. Our childhood, our youth, and our old age all passed dependent on that well. I used to think, were we bound to this captivity? Were the blessings given by God always offered to people with a condition? Who could hold such a right in his hands and impose conditions upon others? My ancestors, our generation, and now our children. How much longer would this captivity last? One day, from sunrise to sunset, I watched the desert. The world was greater than the line between two horizons, and God's blessings were scattered everywhere. Yet we could not convince the elders of our tribe to leave that oasis. Later, I understood. What bound us to that well was not its water, but the fear of absence. In that moment, I made a decision. The time to leave had come. The next morning I went to the well. If this stone was so powerful, it could make other wells abundant too. We did not have to be exposed to the scorching heat of the sun and the freezing cold of the night in the middle of the desert with my tribe. We were free. The people of my tribe opposed it, but I was determined. Without allowing anyone to stop me, I went to the well. This stone would be removed. We would migrate to more fertile lands, and my tribe would be free.
I pulled on the stone with all my strength to move it from its place. After some struggle, the stone shifted. The crowd around me watched in fear and worry, but I looked at them with the pride of my righteous struggle, believing not in the miracle of the stone, but in the triumph of human courage. The stone was now in my hands. I called out to my tribe, "I am setting out on the road to end our captivity of many years. I will go as far as I can and establish our new homeland in more fertile lands. I will dig another well and return to take you with me. Until I come back, your animals, your fruits, and the water in the well will be enough for you."
For days, for weeks, I walked in the desert. Somewhere there had to be a sea, if not a lake. Lands where trees lined up into forests, where countless plants and animals lived, rivers that should appear before me. I found nothing. I dug wells again and again. As I dug, my family and my tribe came to mind, but I was on a road with no return now. With my ambition, I dug the sands, and with my helplessness, I waited at their heads for water. No matter which well I placed that green stone upon, it always ended in disappointment. One midnight, exhausted from fatigue and thirst, I fell asleep and saw Zamar in my dream. With the green stone in his hand, he was destroying our tents and setting them on fire. My tribe was running in fear in every direction, and I searched among them for my family, but could not find them. At one moment he stopped and looked at me. I could read the anger in his eyes. But my anger was now more violent, more burning than his. As I ran to catch him, I woke up with a start, filled with the same anger. I stood up. Throwing that cursed stone as far as I could, I set out with quick steps to return to my oasis. Now, neither the sun, nor hunger, nor thirst could stop me. Days later, when I reached my oasis, I did not recognize it at first. That beautiful oasis was gone. The well had dried up. The trees and plants had withered. The tents had been dismantled.
and my homeland was left in ruins. I ran quickly to my own tent. My family was not inside. As I looked around, it was not hard to understand the despair my tribe had experienced in recent times. While wandering in the middle of the ruins, I saw a piece of cloth hanging from a dry branch stuck in the sand and took it in my hand. On the cloth it said, "Aaron's pride awakened Zamar's wrath. The stone cursed our tribe and our homeland." Pride? What I carried was not pride, it was the right to migrate. But if one man was deciding over my rights, my tribe's peace, our sustenance, then pride had now turned into grudge. I had to find Zamar. The world is like an hourglass created by God, and we are the grains of sand passing through that narrow channel inside it. When the time comes, one falls. This time, another would fall through that channel. One believed to be immortal, who set boundaries with his prohibitions, Zamar. I was now the embodied form of a grudge born from the sands. For days, for nights, I walked upon the sands, searching for Zamar. I was not alone. When the sun took control of the sky, another walked behind me, Grudge. As this crimson wolf within me followed at my heels, it constantly whispered painful scenarios of revenge into my ear.
When a person stops feeding the monster in his heart, it dies of hunger. At night, when the white light of the moon struck Aaron's face, the infinity of the desert filled with mercy. Yet that oasis had been a homeland for everyone for years. Because he had taken a stone from the well, Aaron had fallen into a pit like the prophet Joseph. But Joseph was innocent. He grew stronger. Aaron was proud. He grew weaker. Joseph became a king in Egypt. Aaron, however, was a wanderer in his own land. Then forgiveness would begin to speak.
Humans fear emptiness, Aaron. To fill that vast emptiness in your heart, you choose either love or pure hatred. You chose hatred and fell into the deserts. You watered it like a garden, raised it like a child. Zamar, let go of this enemy who does not exist. Zamar is now an idol you created. Destroy him so that you may be free. And remember, on the road you set out upon with ambition and revenge, you dig two graves, one for your enemy, the other for yourself. It is the universal and unchanging rule of fate. The one who lives with grudge kills himself.
While the sun's dominion continued in the skies, the hours were not enough to find Zamar. The remorse that came with the peace of the night was also not enough to make him return to his homeland. He was stuck between night and day, light and darkness, grudge and forgiveness. He would either abandon grudge or forgiveness, but there was also fate watching them from above. While they played out the script that had been written below, of course fate would speak its final word to Aaron. Twilight was the only time when neither grudge nor forgiveness stood beside him. A brief time when he was simply himself, with himself. His body weary, his mind clouded, he walked helplessly over the waves of sand. As he walked again at twilight, something happened. Someone appeared before him. Aaron was frightened by his imposing figure. In the dim light of twilight, He could not see the man's face, could not identify him. Trying to hide his fear, Aaron stepped back a few paces. At that moment, the man began to speak.
"Here I am, Aaron. You searched for me for days. By day your heart filled with grudge. By night you took refuge in forgiveness with your remorse. Now I stand before you. In this moment when day and night embrace, be yourself for the first time and do whatever you will do to me."
Aaron's astonishment faded. As he waited for the state his soul would take, the well came to his mind, then his family, and then his tribe. He clenched his fist in anger. His fingers, dried by the desert air, split and began to bleed. Then what he had done to the well came to his mind. He had not remained faithful to the legacy his ancestors had left, and had removed the stone from the well and cast it aside. But his aim had been to be free. What he did was not evil, nor was it rebellion. Was his share in this life merely branches that flourished by the magic of a stone and a well from which water burst forth? Was struggling about protecting what one had, or reaching other worlds far away?
As all this passed through his mind, he looked at his condition, his torn clothes, his cracked hands and feet, his lips crusted from thirst. "You are responsible for this state too, Zamar," he thought to himself, and at that moment he heard a whisper at the back of his neck. Grudge had seized Aaron's heart with the heat of the sun. "See, even fate wants him dead. It brought him to you. At night you were a tired coward. Now you are a brave executioner. Your enemy stands before you, and this is your last chance. If you want to take back your tribe, your family, your oasis, do it." Aaron was convinced his thirst would only be quenched by Zamar's blood. As Zamar stood there, fixing his deep gaze upon Aaron, Aaron drew his dagger from its sheath at his waist and, with a swift motion, stabbed it into Zamar's chest with hatred. Zamar did not resist Aaron. While looking into his eyes, he first sank to his knees and then collapsed onto the sand, the dagger still embedded in his chest. With pride, Aaron watched Zamar lying on the ground. "I have taken my revenge," he said, and turned to look behind him. The sun had begun to rise into the sky, but Grudge was not there. No one whispered in his ear. As this silence unsettled him, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. He placed his hand over his heart. His fingers were covered in blood. The pain in his chest was cutting off his breath. He struggled to remain standing. In that moment, Aaron understood. The one he had stabbed was not a body. He had destroyed the last fragment of his own soul. The wound opened by the dagger was not physical. The feeling of grudge had burned Aaron's own chest. With his last strength, he focused on the place where Zamar had fallen. Zamar was not there. It was as if the earth had split and swallowed him. The pain in his chest now overwhelmed him, and he collapsed where he stood, remaining there. He opened his eyes in his tent in the oasis, on a simple bedding, with a faint ache in his chest. The tent stood firm in its place, and he could hear the voices of his wife and son outside. The sounds coming from outside were not only his family's voices. The voices of the children, the elders, whoever lived in the oasis, echoed inside the tent. He could not believe what he heard and quickly rose, running out of the tent. The well was still there, children drawing water from it, and people talking in the shade of lush green trees. He began to cry. Seeing him like this, his wife ran to him. "What happened, Aaron? Are you all right?" "I'm fine," Aaron said. "I just had a bad dream." What he had lived could not have been only a dream. He had risen to seek freedom, fallen into the deserts with the feeling of grudge, felt remorse at night with the feeling of forgiveness, and through the protective mastery of fate, experienced a simulation. And now the well stood before him, and the green stone upon it. Even if he were to set sail toward freedom once more, he had understood one thing very well. On the road you set out upon with ambition and revenge, you dig two graves, one for your enemy, the other for yourself. It is the universal and unchanging rule of fate. The one who lives with grudge kills himself.